Hello, my name is Lewis and welcome to Gathering the Magic. Today we're looking at the 10 best Naya commanders in MTG. Starting off this Naya list, we've got Samut, Voice of Dissent. From Amonkhet, this human warrior with flash, double strike, vigilance and haste says other creatures you control have haste, and you can pay a plains and untap to untap another target creature. There are so many routes to take with Samut. Let's start off first with all of that Voltron. This is a commander with double strike, vigilance and haste, so with all of that green ramp, you could be getting Samut out early and hitting an opponent for 6. And that's even more if you're equipping all of those big, strong equipment. Another common route is that human tribal, one of the biggest and baddest tribes in Magic. You'll have cards to boost your humans, give your humans mana abilities, get super aggressive and wipe out your opponents with your big, wide army. With those creatures having haste too, the chance to get out some powerful creatures and untap them for 1 is mighty tempting. I know I'd absolutely want to throw in some extra combat cards in a Samut deck too. This is an extremely powerful, popular and fun commander that if you can get out and equipped early, you'll be eliminating your friends quicker than they could imagine.
Someone will die.
Fun.
Before we get on to number 9, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for all things MTG. Subscribing is completely free to do, and it helps our channel grow and grow. We've also just started our very own channel membership too, so become a prickly pal today to help support the channel. Next up on the Naya list we have Jared Carthalion, True Heir. From Commander Legends we have another human warrior that when ETBs, target opponent becomes the monarch. And if damage will be dealt to Jared whilst you're the monarch, put that many +1/+1 counters on it. This deck is all about that monarch mechanic. A personal favourite mechanic of mine, a Jared deck completely focuses on that monarch. Play more cards that will ETB and make you the monarch, have even more triggers that will gain you things from your upkeep, attack triggers or even end step triggers. We also need cards like Pariah that will route that damage straight to Jared so he can beef it up even more. It doesn't say that it has to be your opponent dealing damage to Jared too, just make sure you're getting that monarchy and even deal damage to Jared yourself. That damage is then prevented and Jared is beefed up even more. You love to see it. Just remember, the stronger Jared gets, the more likely it'll be a target in a game of Commander, so whack in all of those protection staples and maybe even a few other protection options as well to keep him around. A strong boy and a card that looks even better in that foil etched printing. Coming in at number 8 we have Mele, the Anima. From Shards of Alara, this elf shaman says you can pay 3 in Naya, tap and look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may put a creature card with power 5 or greater from among them into play, putting the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. For this deck we are absolutely cramming it with ramp, from your standards like Cultivate, all the way to those creatures that will get us out extra lands or let us tap for ridiculous amounts of mana. We need to go super rampy because this deck will be crammed to the max with all those ridiculously powerful creatures. We're spending 6 mana to pull off this with Mele, so we want those creatures to slay. Ones that will ETB and cause havoc, ones that will give all of your creatures hexproof, and even those creatures that will protect your super strong creatures. Especially in red and green, there are no end of big strong creatures that will really make this deck get out of hand. Finally, pad out the deck with some similar cards like Quicksilver Amulet. This is another commander that will become a target quick, so having other ways to cheat out those creatures is essential. A powerful commander that I think I'd be able to make a great deck for myself because I am super confident in my deck making ability.
I have no idea what I'm doing, but I know I'm doing it really, really well.
Next on this list we have Oben, Dire Ancestor. From the Zendikar Rising commander set, this elf shaman says at the beginning of combat on your turn, up to 1 target land you control becomes an XX elemental with trample and haste until end of turn, where X is Oben's power. It's still a land. And whenever a land ETBs under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. This is a deck that's all about that landfall. We're packing in every card we can cram with those landfall triggers, and throughout the years of Magic, we've got dozens if not hundreds of those landfall loving cards. As is common in Naya, we want those creatures previously spoken about that will allow us to play more lands a turn, because the more triggers we have, the better. Here's where we're fitting in the always legendary Gathering the Magic Card of the Deck award. Here we're giving it to Scapeshift. If you're deep in that game of Commander and you get to sack 10 lands and get 10 out, well that's 10 landfall triggers and Oben is either making itself or some other creatures strong. Finally, we're cramming in all of those lands, but the more of those fetch lands or any lands that we can sacrifice to get out even more lands are so essential because it gives us 2 landfall triggers which makes the deck twice as spicy. A great commander and one that definitely makes my list of favourite mechanics. Just missing out on the top half we have Maurici, Breaker of the Coil. From Commander 2019, this 5/4 cat warrior says your opponents can't cast spells during combat, and whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, goad each creature that player controls. Another commander with a few options, one popular is focusing on that goad. Get in tons of creatures and cards that focus on that forced combat. Force your opponents to attack each other and stay away from all that battling, and you'll be able to safely boost up your side of the field and be in a very strong way to get that victory royale. With only ourselves being able to play spells during combat, we'll not only be the only ones able to spring surprises, but it also stops the threat of our opponents being able to spring some surprises during combat. Another common route with Maurici is to focus on cat tribal. Another growing tribe in popularity throughout the years. Cats are really strong within those Naya colours. You have cats that can boost other cats, some that create even more, and big strong cats that can claw through your opponents for the win. Maurici is a great commander and won't be the only one that we'll see from the Commander 19 set. Next on up we have Zakama, Primal Calamity. From 2018's Rivals of Ixalan, this 9/9 dinosaur has Vigilance, Reach, Trample, and when it ETBs, if you cast it, untap all lands you control. You can pay 2 in a red to deal 3 damage to target creature, 2 in a forest to destroy target artifact or enchantment, and you can pay 2 in white to gain 3 life. Most Zakama decks really focus on that dinosaur tribal. Again, Naya syncs up really well with dinosaurs, plenty that give other dinos haste, some that can steal your opponent's creatures, and even non-dinosaur board wipes. Another high mana value commander, so again, you not only need all of that ramp, but any cards you can get your hands on that will cheapen the cost of those dinos. And the fact that when it ETBs it untaps all of your lands will instantly make it a target, so make sure you have all of those ways to protect it. Finally, getting all of those cards like Temur Sabertooth or Sanctum of Eternity. Tap all lands you control totaling 12 or more mana, activate these cards, return Zakama to your hand, cast Zakama, untap all of your lands, repeat and repeat, and you've got all the mana in the world to deal infinite creature damage, destroy all the artifacts or enchantments, or gain all of that life. A high mana value card, but a very powerful commander. This is one that will send your opponents all the way back to the Jurassic period. Just missing out on the top 3 we have Gishath, Conclave Exile. Another one from the Commander 19 set, this human shaman says when it ETBs, create a 4/4 Rhino creature token with Trample, and whenever Gishath attacks, populate. The token ETBs tapped and attacking. This deck is all about that populate. We're going super wide with Gishath and finding every which way that we can populate all of our tokens. We won't just be focusing on those rhinos though, so we'll be adding in all sorts of ways to create several different types of tokens. We'll be creating tokens in every mana, all the way down to those board wipes. There's even protection spells that will create as tokens. It never ends. As long as we can keep all of these creatures and token creatures on the field, this deck will get so wide that you'll overwhelm your opponents into oblivion. Now this was a deck that I originally had as a precon, but before no time at all it was changed to a more egg-sighting commander, but that one is still to come on this list. Taking the bronze medal spot we have Rin Cere, Inseparable. From M21, this dog-cat duo says whenever you cast a dog spell, create a 1/1 green cat creature token, and whenever you cast a cat spell, create a 1/1 white dog creature token. You can pay Naya and tap, and Rin Cere deals damage to any target equal to the number of dogs you control, and you gain life equal to the number of cats you control. This is a deck we're filling to the max with all of those dogs and cats. There are dog and cat aplenty in MTG, so we're going animal crazy to create the perfect deck. As you can see here, most Rin Cere decks go very creature heavy, and you can balance out the dog-cat ratio depending if you want to gain more life or deal more damage with that Rin Cere ability. We've also got the infinite token creator in Alluran and White Mane Lion. Cast White Mane Lion for free thanks to Alluran. Rin Cere triggers, creating you a 1/1 dog. White Mane Lion then returns itself to its hand, and you repeat and repeat and repeat. You can then use Rin Cere's ability to use the millions of created dogs to destroy your opponents and win the game. This is a really cool and unique commander, and one that, because it was a buy a box promo, is very slowly but surely raising in price. Runner up and the second best Naya commander we have Atla Palani, Nest Tender. The third and final from the Commander 19 precon, this 2/3 Egg Mum says you can pay 2 and tap to create a 0/1 egg creature token with Defender. And whenever an egg you control dies, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a creature card. Put that on the field and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Another deck here that we want to fill with some of those populate loving cards. Make more eggs, crack more eggs, put more beasts onto the field. whacking several sack outlets so we can not only get those eggs out, but destroy them straight away. You need ways to destroy them yourself because thanks to that outlet trigger, your opponents won't want to be breaking them. Finally, when all of those egg triggers are resolving, we want the biggest creatures possible to reveal from the top of your library, so just go super strong, or maybe go super dirty and fill with all of those Eldrazi. Lastly, those changelings or cards like Masswood Nexus are key. Turn everything into an egg and then you've got triggers for days. That is some cracking stuff. The winner and the best Naya commander is Gishath, Sun's Avatar. This 7/6 dinosaur avatar has trample, vigilance and haste, and when it deals combat damage to a player, reveal that many cards from the top of your library. Put any number of dinosaur creature cards from among them onto the field and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. Once again, we're going full on dino tribal here, packing in every dino possible because the more dinosaurs we have in this deck, the more we can potentially put on the field for free. We also want cards to beef up Gishath too, because the more damage that Gishath can do, the more cards we're revealing from the top of our library and potentially getting even more big bad dinos out onto the board. As well as those beefy equipment, cards like Unnatural Growth are perfect too, as it doubles that potential damage. Why reveal 7 cards from the top of your library when you could reveal 14? Gishath is an incredible commander and rightfully the most popular pick amongst the Instagram followers. If you do want to have a say in future polls and questions, then do make sure to follow us. Meme Master Steve's memes ain't that bad too. There we have it, that is the list. Thanks for watching and don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for all things MTG. Check out our link tree in the description below for all of our social media and affiliate links. For now though, I'm all tapped out, so I'll see you in the next video.